And welcome to the 2026 Northern Super Regional D2 Men's Final with an opportunity to make it to the Club National Final Four. The gentlemen of Aspen will be taking on Kansas City RFC. My name is Lance Kavanaugh, and I'm joined in the booth by the man, the myth, the legend, Tim Wilkes. And Tim, exciting matchup ahead. Two teams who had a strong day yesterday, but got to finish it up to make the Final Four.
Yeah, first got to take a look at those gentlemen from Aspen out from Colorado. They were dominant in the Rocky Mountain Rugby Football Union, and yesterday they put on a bit of a clinic. Southside Rugby, the Southside Irish, the hometown team, just couldn't get enough. They traded some penalty kicks there early, but then the burst was on, and the gentlemen of Aspen really put things clicking. They came away with a 38-15 victory. That's Jared Shemp right there, taking it the distance. The boys in red were just too much to handle. A nice take there on the edge. They got it done in multiple ways. They were truly a dominant team, and just too many penalties on the other side for the hometown Southside Irish. Big victory for the gentlemen of Aspen.
One thing we have to point out about this Kansas City side is the wingers and young players were leading from the front. Caleb Levine Creeman, absolutely clinical in this matchup. Not one, not two, not three. Hat trick isn't enough. Had to get the fourth, and Kansas City needed all of those points as this team got to running. And when they had forward momentum, they were almost impossible to stop. Fort Wayne, valiant effort and continue to fight through the end. But some of these young players from this Kansas City side, and respect to the older guys who put in a lot of work, really led from the front and made it quite a match. As now we find ourselves preparing for the kickoff. Patrick Feet will be in the middle, flanked by experienced ARs. And with that whistle, we are underway for your Northern Super Regional D2 Final, as Kansas City absolutely bottles up that ball receiver on the kickoff. And now Aspen, the gentleman, leading, running right into the heart of this Kansas City attack. Now choosing to bring the ball back, play territorial, kicks the ball down the field, and now will give Kansas City the first option to attack, choosing to go to the boot again, and that might be a 50-22, saved it forward, so it almost holds the same effect as now Kansas City with their first opportunity to attack, unable to keep the ball in play.
Yeah, sometimes the best option is just trying to pin a team back deep, force them to do the difficult thing, which is play with ball in hand while you're pinned in back there. They get the unforced error right off the bat. And only a minute into this action, they will have the put into the scrum. I think we're just outside the 22, but a great first chance for the Fighting Pat Cliftons here for KCRFC.
Matt Williams tried to keep it in bounds, but unable to save it after that Warner kick. And the scrum for Kansas City held shop yesterday. And can that continue? That trend yielded great dividends as we have a giant collision. Kelsman running shoulder to shoulder against the defense, bringing him right to his back. And now Kansas City RFC are playing the expensive game. Swung around is Warner, but able to keep possession. A big double tackle on Gaston. Shocking tackle, brings him down. And now Kansas City able to recycle. It looks like Aspen isn't really putting too many bodies or high contests into some of these early rucks. Or maybe just Kansas City is bringing resources and snuffing out any turnover attempts as a tackle is shrugged off. And Kansas City continue to move closer and closer. The man known as Land able to keep a defender away. But just like that, Kansas City loses the ball, and the gentleman of Aspen put it to the boot, pushing this Kansas City side inside of his own 22. Able to bring the ball back and resource it, looking for an opportunity to move it. Nothing there. Chopped down with absolute speed by Pierce, and Pierce able to force this Kansas City side to stay in their own 22. But the spaces on the top of your screen as Kansas City recycles, finding where the green grass is, and we're back to another foot race on the far side touchline. Multiple tacklers in, And Aspen able to get back to cover the space, but will they be able to cover what's deep as the kick goes in, not 20 to the 22, but still trickles out of bounds. And now Aspen with an opportunity to attack. And both teams using that boot effectively. Aspen pinning Kansas City deep, and Kansas City responding just to get the ball off the pitch after a line break on the far side, Tim.
Yeah, there for the gentlemen of Aspen. Not too often you see the big number 8 hoofing it down the pitch there from Ben Mitchell. But it was a good response from Kansas City RFC. And you mentioned yesterday they were a little bit slow in the beginning, but ended up putting up 70-plus points and really didn't even start doing that till after the 30-minute mark.
Taking it from the front pod, cleanly delivered. Now the gentlemen of Aspen running a confrontational hit up to the middle of the field. That's a probing play to really set themselves up as this game progresses. The gentleman running and looping around as the forward pack, but stuffed immediately by this Kansas City defense. The line speed from Kansas City not taking up too much space. Let's see how they attack defensively from the edge. Just a slow walk up, trying to make sure they accommodate for numbers, but not using clear speed to close the space. And maybe that will give Aspen opportunities later on as the ball drops and we have our first knock on in the game. And now with the scrum down to Kansas City's favor.
Yeah, that was Sean Dilley, number 3, helping out there in that double tackle as they jar this one loose. Again, just coming up flat as a line. Couple players there ready to take that one. Big shoulder just coming in right through the chest. Fully dislodges the ball and gets the turnover. And it's Kansas City with another attacking scrum.
Crouch.
Such a dangerous squad, but this gentleman of Aspen definitely had the better of the two scrums yesterday. Let's see if they can keep that rolling here in the championship.
Ball played in cleanly, picking out the back, and now Kansas City is going to go to the far side. That 8-man pick creates an overload on the far side. Doesn't have what it takes, falls down, rolls over, but still in that first move, and we have our first try of this D2 Northern Super Regional Final, Tim.
Great work to get it all the way to the edge. As you see here, it's taken off the back, looking for the pop pass. He decides to go all the way out, and it's that pass that opens things up on the far corner. Would-be tackler just tries to chop him down there at the legs, but they can't bring him in, and that is the opening score. It didn't take him quite as long as yesterday, but Kansas City Rugby Football Club on the board first. A tremendous try coming in there from the wing outside.
And we'll get a name for you. We'll have that prepared, but did you see the tempo move? The slow down step to kick? It's almost like a baby goosey, and just held the defender enough to get around to that corner or get around to that edge. And that conversion across the face, no good. So we're at 5-0. And just check out this play, Tim. Look at how well worked it is bringing defenders to crash down here.
Yeah, it's that final pass there on the outside, hit the target, and then great work to scramble through, staying up on the feet to be able to bring it all the way home. That was Gordon Palmer. Dots it down and gives them the 5-point lead, and exactly what you'd want for Kansas City RFC against a tough Gentlemen of Aspen squad that dominated from start to finish yesterday. They get on top first.
And they'll take the middle scrum. No offsides on the opening kickoff.
When you're on the end, 2 steps ahead.
Or no penalty for offsides on the kickoff, so they have the options for the re-kick, or will they take the scrum? They choose to take the scrum. And now Kansas City, after putting up points, have another scrum here. Tim, you got to like how they started off getting points off the scrum. Now what can they create for themselves here?
They've had that little bit of surge in it. They seem to be a little more dominant early on in these scrums, which is going to be huge for Kansas City as they continue. Again, a little bit of rain this morning. It's starting to dry up a little bit, but still a chilly, windy day in Chicago.
Tunnel back.
Yeah, the field's a little wet, but as long as the rain doesn't fall, we're going to have some clean play here. The ball put a little bit behind, but able to keep hands on. And it looked like Zane Palmer shrugging and pushing and getting players off of him. Palmer on the wings, and one Palmer to another. They've been playing pretty good in this early bit. Just 8 minutes to go. Dummy thrown and a defender thrown, as now Kansas City has added a little bit of physicality to their attack. And if this sits up right, we might have another try. Unable to get clean ball, Gordon Palmer, but still pins this gentleman of Aspen deep in their own end. And Kansas City has really figured out a few things on attack. You got to appreciate the way they're mixing it up and giving so many options here.
Yeah, we've seen a couple kicks, so we know they're threatening, and they are, again, more than happy to keep the gentlemen pinned inside their own half of the pitch. You see supporters there from KC looking on, trying to urge the boys forward.
Ball not handled cleanly on that line out.
Chris option. Want to scrum here? Okay.
So the options were not going in the touch by White. So the gentlemen of Aspen are going to take an opportunity to appreciate their own first scrum here in the matchup offensively. And with so many options wide, it looks like they're probably going to try to clear their lines, but you know, who knows with how this gentleman of Aspen team will attack him.
And we take a look at kind of what they've done so far this weekend. Again, watch out for Ben Mitchell, big number 8, and also the speedster who scored the most tries for him this weekend, Etienne Pierre. He's wearing that number 12 jersey out here today.
Pick off the back by 8 men. A surge of defenders had to stop and go to find this space. Tackle made, and now they're going to set up to clear their lines here. Ball is up and away. It will stay in the field, being able to be played to the center. With so much space on the bottom of the screen, Kansas City now have a chance. One struggling defender. Says Palmer, sits a defender down, and a little bit of an obstruction call against Kansas City. Players just, side entry on the ruck. But look at this play here, Tim.
There's Enoch Takau coming in, a big-time tackle there for the gentleman of Aspen, an important one. And again, that was Etienne Pierre, who got down low, made the chop tackle, and keeps them moving, just down by 5 points. And really, so far, Lance, we haven't seen the gentleman of Aspen do a ton with it on the offensive end. Yesterday, they really struggled on some of these kicks, finding touch. The fact that they're able to progress the way down the field and haven't kind of had a shank just so far is probably a positive sign for the boys from Aspen.
Yeah, with the weather being what it is earlier, they have to make sure they're 100% on their kicks. Anything can happen as it bounces. Able to gather it, reload, and put the ball off the park. And that's just cool, calm, composed operation there, giving your team a chance to reset defensively after being pinned back on that Kansas City kick here.
Yeah, just got to try to get anything out of it, make something out of nothing there. Martin Granda did a good job hoofing it down the pitch, at least bringing them outside the 22-meter line here for this line out.
You can see the Kansas City players not sitting on the bench at all. They're all standing, all eager to get into this game. These are the matchups you hope for as a player to be involved with, to stamp your claim for the guys and put on for your team. As Kansas City able to get that line out back, tip down, return back to the hooker, and now the attack for Kansas City begins. 2 passes from the forwards going into tackles and still able to keep the continuity going. Ball slipped out, bounces on the ground, but ever so resourceful, keeps the ball in play. And look at this Kansas City side finally choosing to go to a ruck here after multiple offloads. And the gentleman of Aspen stepping up defensively, really closing out space, but met with strong ball carries, as now Kansas City has again implemented physicality on attack, playing so confrontational with these forwards, fake dummies and running right into players they've done multiple times, but the ball just handled a little bit loose and able to be pulled out as this gentleman of Aspen, bend but don't break. I believe that was Michael Memone who was able to force that knock on, as now we'll have another scrum as Aspen with a little bit of space here, or try to form a little bit of space here.
Yeah, that was great work on the defensive end there from the gentleman. That was a good 4 or 5 phases, and they did not crack that 22-meter line. Great work to just repel them time and time again. We've seen the tenacity that Kansas City is taking into these runs, but the gentlemen of Aspen are more than happy to meet them and shove them back at times as well.
Yeah, maybe losing the engagement, but not losing any heart and continue to fight. And now Kansas City able to steal that scrum, and defense turns to offense. And could it be a great opportunity? Still having the advantage. Referee continues to initiate the advantage. And with that ball dribbling to the edge, we might have an opportunity to score here. Need a big one-on-one tackle that is made. Ball knocked on, and we'll go back to where the original advantage happened. And you gotta love, again, the tenacity of this gentleman of Aspen side, able to make the tackles, taking big hits, and still standing up to the fight here.
Oh yeah, in the teeth of the defense, and shout out to the prop with the one-on-one tackle on the outside, Garrett Teague for the gentlemen of Aspen. But they are not out of the woods yet, and here we go, Lance, looking for more points from straight in front of the post. They'll look to smash this one through Warner.
Yeah, the principal approach, making a team play for penalties near and around kicking opportunities. And this is going to be a very, very simple and easy 3 points. I say this as not having to kick it myself or have the pressure of actually putting it through right now. But it's a good opportunity to get 3 points and extend this lead.
Yeah, on the penalty, nobody in his face, so it's a little bit easier.
And that one is up, and it is good. And just like that, an extension has been added to the total here.
Time is run.
I believe the referee is
Did you hear me, Phil? Yep.
signifying a conversation. 8-0, Kansas City over Aspen. And early in this match, Aspen hasn't been able to really have attack in the green zone in the positive past the 50. And it's really showing on the scoreboard and how this Kansas City confidence has started to amplify as time goes on. Another big carry, another defender thrown to the wayside. And now Kansas City sets up to kick to space. No one home, looking for an opportunity to kick it just past the 50. And finally Aspen with good attacking opportunity here after that kick return that puts them past the 10-meter line.
Oh, not a good roll away there.
And you got to put in the fight to attempt. Ball is tapped, and we're back going again as the gentlemen of Aspen continue to press forward after finally getting their hands on the ball and the chance to attack. Jersey grab, pulling, yanking, and wrestling, trying to bring the big ball carrier Adam Wright down. There's no right way to do it when you're talking about a ball carrier that strong. As now, gentlemen of Aspen clash again. That's Kendrick getting tackled by multiple players. Campbell able to put the ball backwards. Big forward, keeping the ball in play, and just that step. Couldn't get all the way through, but definitely held and freezed a few defenders on his way. Quick hands to get the ball to the fullback. Flip out the back, and the connection between the 15 and 14 is optimal. As James Stone gets the ball to Grandin, but unable to keep it clean, and the ball is lost in the tackle. Kansas City showing their ability to hold strong on the back end of the defense here, Tim.
Yeah, Grandin had that one there, but just had it ripped out at the last second. Great defense on the outside, and I think that was our previous try scorer out there on the corner, Palmer again. Also, great work. That's Reuter holding this defense. But, Lance, this is the best attacking opportunity we've seen from Aspen in 16 minutes in. They need some positive momentum. As again, that the scrum has really kind of been dominated thus far by KCRFC as well.
Yeah, still in that last scrum, really put pressure on the gentleman of Aspen. Now with this scrum falling down, and gentlemen able to force a long arm penalty, and a little cynical holding the ball and keeping it away, and the referee notices immediately. And those are the kind of things that get the referee on the bad side. You cannot do those kind of things. As they go quick, the gentlemen of Aspen are going to go for points. No use in waiting, and immediately Kansas City has a shot for the ball.
No, White captain.
But I believe it might have been a penalty on White here.
Boys away.
Angle of the arm seemed to dip there.
We just had scrum penalty, toss the ball away penalty, run to the sticks, clean up our discipline. He laid on the rock off his feet, yes.
Oh. Ends up with the penalty against Kansas City, Lance. And so now, knocking on the door, gentlemen of Aspen looking to pound this one through.
and this has to be a gut check moment for Kansas City. The emotions from thinking that they had to steal, but now have to turn around and make sure they're the ones who hold fort.
Ooh.
And a try, just like that. The gentleman of Aspen fall over, and Jacob Five from New Zealand falls in for the try. And just like that, the gentleman answered back.
I think actually Kindred there, number 7.
Yeah, that's good.
Able to take that one through, but I love this. A little misdirection. They think, oh, we got to shift out wide, and they just take it straight up the gut. He had support with him, but Clifford just takes it all the way through. Multiple white jerseys in his way, slams it home. A huge try to keep them in this match. And now they can even come within 1 point from it. Chris Campbell, the kicking lock, after my heart, gonna smash this one through to try and cut into the lead even more.
The kicking lock. Kindred able to push forward. The guy from Colorado Springs, the financial planner, plans to put his team forward. You gotta love the way that they put in that little play there to get these points, Tim.
Yeah, that misdirection, it didn't look like much, but it's not something you see too often, just completely pulling off. They had the full speed, a beautiful scoop. That's not an easy thing to do off the deck there from Kindred, and he takes it the distance, and what a terrific response for the gentleman of Aspen.
1 point advantage for Kansas City, the slimmest of margins possible to hold the advantage, and immediately Kansas City takes care of business on that kickoff. Defender right to the ground. And you got to see some positivity in the way the gentlemen of Aspen have been able to persist here. But the penalties for Kansas City really giving the Aspen gentlemen an opportunity as they choose to go to the kick. Ball taken directly off the park. And was that outside the 22 and played back in? Yes, it was, says the referee. So now the gentlemen of Aspen on the heels of their own try line having to play defense.
Yeah, that was Jared Shemp. They tried to boot that one down, but again, just a little too hot and heavy. They were outside the 22. He was standing back inside of it, but the phase started outside, and so we'll bring it all the way back to where that kick was taken and gives Kansas City Rugby Football Club another attacking opportunity. They've been tremendous on the offensive end thus far, being coached by Richard Diaz and Patrick Clifton. On the other side, it actually is Clifford Kindred, the Jackie Moon on the pitch, leading from the front, their player coach.
Choosing to race to the front on that, able to hold on to possession is Kansas City. That's a little bit of initiative to move to the front of that line out, and it works good. Able to play the ball wide, takes a bounce, but covers 20-plus meters on that play, and they swing it back the other way, and Kansas City might have found the space over the top. We have a foot race going in the score. Might have been too much on the re-kick, and with a great opportunity to get points, Land could not find Land on that kick, and the ball is put out the back here, with now gentlemen of Aspen having options to make decisions.
Yeah, that one kicked all the way through. The opportunity to either take the 22-meter drop or the scrum where the kick was taken. 22-meter drop will give him a little more distance, but you see here the eyes get so big and wide here for Caleb Land. He thought he had it, but our cameraman here and the next level rugby team holds firm, keeps the shot on line, and the gentleman of Aspen with a little bit of relief here with the kick.
Ball knocked on the kick receipt, and now the gentleman of Aspen, who almost went from giving up 5 points on a kick chase opportunity, now finds themselves with a little bit more space, and their ball. Great turn of events for this Aspen side. Take a look at this.
It just found a gap in the defense there. They were set up for it, had to have the back line come up and try and catch that one in the air, but a great kick off the drop goal, send it a little deeper, and found that bit of green grass. And now the gentlemen of Aspen continue their charge, 7 in a row. Let's see if they can duplicate here. A long ways to go.
Scrum absolutely melts into the ground. Referee can't determine, says it's a foot issue. The ground is wet. We had rain earlier today, and you can already see that the past rain is affecting the now game, Tim.
Yeah, sunshine finally hitting us out here. Still a little bit of a chilly day. But the gentlemen of Aspen right at home with it. KC, they can deal with the cold weather as well as both these squads, again, playing most of their competition on here in the, at least the Rocky Mountain RFU in the fall. But they were able to get a couple warm-up. They seem to be clicking on all cylinders here as though they get shoved back.
This Kansas City scrum is holding court right now, forcing multiple turnovers. That's the second time they were able to get the ball away from the gentlemen at Aspen. And look at the push and drive. Absolute showcase of togetherness in that scrum. And now Kansas City again choosing to take the easy options. They want the points. They want to light up the scoreboard. And now we'll have a kick to see if they can extend this 8-7 lead that they hold to 11-7.
Thing for me there inside the scrum was just the body height. You saw the gentlemen of Aspen, they were a little bit, just a couple inches higher. As we see the wind starting to change, it's going to be right in the face here of Colson Warner. Not going to be an easy one. It's pretty straightforward. This will give them an opportunity to go up by 4.
Silence, letting the kicker adjust and get the kick up. And the ball goes out the back. No good, and we'll have our second 22-meter drop after that missed penalty attempt. And it's good for them to choose these options. Might not have worked out this time, but it is the best option to attack, because even if they return on this 22, you get the ball back in optimal field position if they can control this kick, which this time they do. Sliding tackle, unable to hold his feet. We said that the rain has affected a little bit of the footing, as now Kansas City flat pass, able to keep possession.
Red 7 in front. Playing the man, red
Not
7
held.
Off the ball.
Choosing to roll again, and referees say that it was an offsides situation. And now KC gets a chance to get the ball off the pitch and set themselves up inside the 5, but unable to keep it in bounds with the gentlemen. And now we'll have a line out deep, and Kansas City's attacking in.
Yeah, strong surge there from Jake Gaston as he comes through. Extra little roll there. We're playing the previous offsides. And so this is where Kansas City wants to be. We saw them pound it in earlier. They had the penalty kick as well. This is where they are good. Can they punch it through?
Obstruction, white in front.
An obstruction on that maul attempt. Able to get a clean line out, but unable to sequence that line out properly. As we take a look here, Tim.
Yeah, therefore the maul, it looked like contact was made. You see the red jersey with the big hair in the back came up and kind of made contact, but they started moving forward before that contact arrived. And at that point, with the ball back, when you recycle it back, you've got 2 players in front. Easy obstruction call for the referee.
Here we are.
As now we get into the second quarter of this championship matchup. Both teams vying for a chance to make the Final Four. Aspen able to get space, set themselves up for what's new. Ball tipped by Kansas City, but Aspen able to keep control, and now choosing to go right into attack here. Ball carry right into Kansas City's biggest players. And with that ruck cleared up, the referee does not like it and doesn't like the mark tap. And Aspen could have had an opportunity to take advantage, catching KC flat-footed. We'll just go back to the penalty here, Tim.
Yeah, just a little too aggressive on that defensive side, trying to get in there and pry that one back. But they'll get dinged with the penalty and see if Campbell Johnstone can flip the pitch here for him. The last time, they really haven't spent much time in this half of the pitch. Last time they did, they came away with points, so they're looking to cash in and go 2 for 2.
Aspen able to get a lot of space here off of that kick. now find themselves on the attacking end. But ball stolen by KC. The forward pack seems to be leading the charge here for Kansas City in the scrums and now defensive lineouts, as the pressure from the gentleman at Aspen is not allowing Kansas City to make the most of what seems to be a great defensive play to get the ball back. KC able to set up a kick, put the ball down the field, takes a happy bounce for the gentleman at Aspen, unable to handle it on that pass. A little bit of not being synced together and forced to just take it forward. Great carry there to reset the process for this Aspen side. But again, having to reset, refocus. Kansas City defense is set, and Aspen again, an errant pass, 2 in the same build-up of phases, but still found a way to keep possession. As you see a tenacious defensive setup here for this Kansas City side. A little bit of discrepancy in that tackle, unable to keep his footing as one leg lifts in the air. Referee says plays on. As again, the gentleman surge forward, choosing to be confrontational with these forwards, bringing the action. 3 Kansas City forwards rolled into that tackle, and the gentleman able to recycle. One-on-one on the edge, chooses to keep instead of sharing. Tackle just a little bit short of the touchline, and another pass off of the shoulder backwards and continues to be possessed by the gentleman.
We're good.
Late gentleman, fine, says the referee.
Yeah, play.
Late gentleman surging forward, push back after a few errant passes, but still finding a way to possess the ball and play into space. Attacking on the far side. They might have found a break in the armor. Ball looked like it was affected on that pass. Play on, says the referee, as late gentlemen continue to surge forward, continue to keep ball pressure. Sharp line ran into a double tackle, and the pick and go that followed just to slow it down a bit. Ball attempted to be ripped out by the tackler. Late gentleman, left foot step, offload on the way down, and now we have a real break by the gentleman of Aspen. Penalty card for high tackle, and going quick. Late gentleman might have space on the outside, and they surge through, and the gentleman of Aspen dive in to get point. Christopher Campbell goes biggie, not to be confused with Christopher Wallace, and 5 points added for the gentleman of Aspen.
Campbell just takes this one. Great job just slowing it down there through Kindred, but they've got numbers on the outside, and Campbell just hits this one at full speed. You see the big lock, lower the body height, get in underneath the shoulders of the would-be tacklers, and they're not going to be able to take him down with just an arm tackle. He surges forward, kept that ball presentable at all times, and gives them the lead 12-8, as now Campbell will look to convert his own try.
And what a run by Campbell. Able to really use that body height. When you're that big, running that fast, you got real control of your body. You're so hard to stop going in the score. And now he must calm himself for this kick. The kick is up, and it is good. Campbell, not to be confused with the soup, good, scores his try and has the conversion. As we look back on the try he scored, low body height wins the day, Tim.
I love it. Not too often you've got big, tall locks in there playing with that kicker position. I love it so much, though, because you're out there, you're giving everything you've got in those scrums, usually maybe a little more tired legs, but you've got to see love the big fella in there, getting the try, kicking it through from the edge. I mean, that was a good 40, 50-meter kick to give them a 6-point lead with 14 unanswered points here in the championship.
Yeah, the legs of Christopher really doing work for this Aspen team. The engine room in the scrum taking a big hit as we celebrate his greatness. Kansas City are not happy with his effect on this game as they go for the kick. Aspen able to kick. It keeps it short of the 50. Play back. No 50-22 option, but a little bit of movement. Able to lose the defender. And the kick over the top. Tackle seems to be fine. No, it is not. Referee takes the free kick, accepts the free kick. Mark called, and now the gentleman return fire. Bomb pressed to the far side of the field. Kansas City happy to get into a ping pong matchup with the gentleman. Ball trickles into the try zone, scooped up, ran out, choosing to keep the ball in play. Ball kicked towards the middle, takes a friendly bounce for Aspen, but Kansas City able to keep clean gathering, and a 50-22 attempt, unable to be pushed out of bounds. The ping pong battle, back and forth, fullbacks, fly halves, sharing their kicking skills, and Kansas City finally chooses to set up, moving right around the 10-meter line on the center field area. Speed off of that rug, ball played almost immediately to the edge, and a big chopping tackle on the try scorer from earlier, keeping him from making the indent that he did to put points on the board to start this game off. Again, Kansas City bringing physicality in these ball carries, but also bringing tactical kicking, and if that stays in and sits upright, we might have another. Wow. You might not have to wonder. Warner goes in to score on the opposite edge, and Palmer goes in to score on the opposite edge, and what an amazing kick and opportunity taken by this Kansas City side.
The attacking Grubber just sets up beautifully on the edge. You see the kick, stabs it in, and already at full pace here on the near side. Zane Palmer just in stride with the fend as well. What a beautiful try. Again, look how close that left foot is to hitting the touch line. Good work from our AR, in line with him, sees that he stays in, and converts a huge try. That is exactly the response they need, and they're able to bring it in a little bit closer and with an opportunity to be able to take the lead back with the converted try.
And the palm from Palmer keeping defenders away. Grandin had an opportunity to make the tackle and possibly save the bacon of the gentleman, but unable to bring the carry down. As we look at the try score, I believe Palmer on Palmer today, both on each wing able to put in points. And with the scoreline 14-13, it looks like we're right back, almost dead set on where we were not too long ago after Aspen finds a way. And again, the carry, very strong, moves through the first tackle, the second force to high tackle. And now Kansas City has the options, decide how they want to move forward after that foul play.
Yeah, they did not want the smoke that time. Jake Gaston just came rumbling through there. Not a good sign for Aspen to kind of be getting out of the way there, but they came back and made the pop. But now they are pressed back inside their own zone, and a huge attacking opportunity for KC as they look to take this one in.
You see Platt Clifton, the man, the myth, the legend, doing so much work for the college rugby game here in the USA. Also putting his stamp on the club game if his Kansas City team can find a way to squeak through and make it into the Final Four here. Early jump by the gentleman at Aspen keeps them from having a real attempt when the ball is thrown in. And with a dribbling pass, Kansas City able to hold retention. Huge ruck collision to keep defenders away. And now Kansas City recycles and moves the ball. They have numbers. Can they make the advantage? Big shot on the edge. Physicality statements have been made left and right by this Kansas City side as ball carriers. It's been a hallmark of some of the things they've been able to do, and unable to keep possession. Ball thrown just a little bit behind, tried to tip before contact, and just knocked on. As now Aspen have an opportunity to get space, clear their line, and reassess the situation here.
Yeah, knocked that one on there through Faulkner, but that all kind of started with a huge tackle on the far side out there by Jared Shimp, number 11. He is really doing a good job on that far wing. Slammed the door shut, tried to force it back inside. Got the turnover that the gentlemen of Aspen needed. Here with 3 minutes, they've still got the 1 point lead. And what has really turned into, Lance, a tremendous first half of action, back and forth rugby.
Physical, energetic, fundamental is what you ask for when you're talking about championship level rugby. One of these teams is going to represent the Northern region, and it's got to be the team who plays physical and plays smart, as The gentlemen of Aspen are pushed backwards, but still find a way to keep possession. Ball kicked from the ground. Kansas City keeps it from spilling behind, and now they have an opportunity to attack. Less than 3 minutes to go here in this half, as Kansas City continues to move the ball, wheeling and dealing, finds space on the edge to try score, giving palms to everybody. Palmer says, you can't stop me, you can't stop me, and you can't stop me. And again, goes in to score. Are you insane, Zane? Getting an amazing try to get deeper into this lead, or to take the lead back from the gentleman at Aspen. Look at this play, Tim.
Oh, he says Palm Sunday is now in May, boys. Dishing them out off 1, 2, 3, slips it. And this is off the heels of a previous try. What tremendous effort on the outside. 3 gentlemen could not bring down Palmer in one of the fanciest tries that we have seen on the weekend, and an important one right before halftime too, Lance.
As the kids would say, clip that, chat, clip that. That is coaching tape that you show to a young player. If they reach for you, grab the arm. If they try to stand tall, attack you, put palm to the chest. If they aren't bringing their feet, palm to the head or shoulders as they fall through. And that is just an amazing fundamental try. The fin is so offensive from Palmer. The conversion is no good. And my, oh my, the wingers have been setting the day for Kansas City. Take a look at this again.
I mean, all shapes and sizes coming in there. Big Ben Mitchell, 6'4". He tries to come in high. Well, you're right. He was just ditching them out high, low, shedding the low tackles, smashing through the high ones, and under a minute left to play. 2 tries in a row for KC to get on top. A tremendous effort to make it happen.
As the kickoff goes up, the ball.
Blue back, but never 10. Scrum.
Never 10, and they get to make the option. They go to the middle, and Tim, there is a bit of this that's not being said. The man who scored 4 tries yesterday isn't the winger that's on the field right now. We're talking about different wingers doing work for this Kansas City side, and they're just loading up players. They're going to have a definite storm jumping onto the field in the second half of this final, Tim.
Yeah, Aspen have shown resilience. They were down early, so a couple points back is not a big deal for them. They've done it already once. But as you mentioned, KC is starting to look stronger as this game wears on.
Scrum play from the 50, cleanly resourced. Picking his options and making sure his hands are good. Attacking with 2 hands on the ball, and the space is there. Tripped up just a bit, but what an amazing carry to break the line here. But unable to convert as Warner shreds up the gentleman, but the ball stolen right back by late gentleman. They will not go quiet into the night. Trying to get out of this 4-point deficit they find themselves in. Forward smash just to set themselves up for the next job. And again, big collisions by these forward packs as now they choose to go back for the kick. Ball put up and out of bounds. And that would be half. What an amazing bit of play we've seen so far here today, Tim, as the first half comes to an end. Kansas City Rugby Football Club holding a 18-14 lead over the gentlemen of Aspen. We'll be right back here in Lamont, Illinois for the Northern Super Regional D2 Final. Back with you soon.
Most girls are smart and strong and beautiful. Most girls work hard, go far, we are unstoppable. Most girls are fight to make every day. No two are the same. I wanna be like.
So actually, before I started playing rugby, I was just a cheerleader for my high school, and I was very shy, nervous, and being around teammates. Rugby is a very accepting sport. I wasn't embarrassed about my body or anything. People really welcome you and actually take your strengths and weaknesses and work with you to make you a better person and player.
You hit each other and then you're friends.
I really like the camaraderie of it, and the game is just so physical and it's fun.
Definitely try it. Maybe you don't think you're the strongest, but once you go out and you hit someone, that adrenaline is so amazing.
It's great. We all love each other. We all like hanging out at these tournaments.
Just meeting so many new people and getting to know them is just amazing. And meeting so many new friends, it's definitely.
Nah, one word is family. Like, you got people like you could depend on.
Probably my favorite part of playing rugby is like I can forget any problem I'm having at school or at home or just any kind of worry or burden and just like giving my all on the field.
We all choose to come here. We don't have to be here, you know. It's just good fun coming out on a Sunday, playing, getting all together, and just great.
All right, so yeah, I think it's the fact that we can play very hard, smack each other up, boom each other, and just eat good and talk to laugh with each other after.
So, one thing that rugby has done for you?
It's brought up a lot of my confidence. I wasn't very confident in middle school, and I knew that if I wanted to become a better player, I would have to bring up my game, which I did, and I've just become so much like a better person to myself. I see myself in such a bigger light, and I'm honestly so much happier playing rugby.
I ain't gonna lie, if it wasn't for them, I don't think I would like be around here, to be honest. So I guess family.
New York Rugby Club is a great community because they put you around great people such as Alex, my coach Alex, and he teaches me more about rugby, how I can make my game better every day and elevate it to the next.
Nah, but like, you feel me? But like, I bet like you know how the hood is, so you know like it's crazy, like around shooters and all that stuff. So it's just keeping me out from there, and then changing from like me got to worry about, I can't walk here, instead of just changing my life and being positive and don't need to worry about anything that much.
I think people really underestimate women in sports. Like in my school, rugby, especially the girls' rugby, is really strong, and I don't think a lot of people expect that that women can have the sort of strength or like sort of drive that men can have in sports. And I mean, you can see today, like it's pretty much even. Women want to, you know, have an outlet for physical contact or something to blow off steam just as much as men do, and they're just as physical, and we're just as, I guess, you can say aggressive as men can be, and we can be just as successful on the rugby field. So I think it just helped me learn that whatever a man can do, I can do it. It's no worries. I can do exactly what they can do.
Growing up in Mississippi, my prayer was, for as long as I can remember, God, use me. Use this life. I don't know what the future holds for me, but I know that there is a vision for my life that is greater than my imagination can hold. Use me. What would you have me to do? And that dream, that desire, that prayer brought me somehow to television.
And she's gonna learn that this life will hit you hard in the face, wait for you to get back up just so it can kick you in the stomach. But getting the wind knocked out of you is the only way to remind your lungs how much they like the taste of air.
If we want to give all of our children a foundation for their dreams and opportunities worthy of their promise, if we want to give them that sense of limitless possibility, that belief that here in America, there is always something better out there if you're willing to work for it, then we must work like never before.
You might never fail on the scale I did, but some failure in life is inevitable.
And we welcome you back to Lamont, Illinois for your Northern Super Regional D2 final between the gentlemen of Aspen, Kansas City, RFC. Kansas City holding a slim 4-point lead after an amazing try going to the score at the very end of that half. And Tim, you gotta love the way both teams are playing, but the slim as their margins are just explosive plays by Kansas City, figuring out a way to get in that try zone.
Yeah, Gordon Palmer got in there first on the outside edge, number 25, went up by 8 with the penalty, but there was the try that got them back into it. Clifford Kindred there for the gentlemen of Aspen, one of the first 2 tries coming home Christopher Campbell hits the line hard. But then to end this first half, we saw a bit of a kick through there, a nice little take, as it was a good try there for Zane Palmer. But then the thing of beauty around the side, stiff arms 1, 2, fullback can't get it either. And he brings it home with one of the nicest tries that we've seen this weekend, and 2 unanswered out there on the edge for Palmer. A thing of beauty, and it was just what the doctor ordered. Kansas City were down, but 2 unanswered tries, 10 points up on the board, and now they're up by 4.
And with that whistle, we are set to begin our second half. Winner moves into the Final Four to meet on this same exact complex, same exact fields in 2 weeks' time to face the other winners of Super Regionals. And an absolute barnstorming carry from the very beginning. Jacob Roeder able to duck and move and weave and stumble to large meterage, and a penalty there.
9 offside.
Offsides playing through the ruck. Unfortunately for the gentlemen of Aspen, as multiple players from that ruck were laid to rest, laid to the ground, but it's still a ruck. And unable to get the ball back, gentlemen of Aspen give up a penalty. Kansas City now kicking for space here.
Yeah, they try to push through. Eventually the call came in on Matt Williams, the number 9, the scrum half, gets dinged for the penalty, and so they'll have to start this one in their own half. And on the defensive end, as Kansas City will look to take charge here on the line out. Both things pretty even as we look at the set pieces, at least on the line outside.
Yeah, Kansas City able to get a steal earlier, but retention for these lineouts has been pretty much standardized. What you expect from these teams on this level to be able to contain their own lineouts is now Kansas City flows the ball to the edge. This has worked out well for them. Big collision, moving the gentleman of Aspen out of the way and not rolling away by the gentleman allows Kansas City to get an additional penalty. And as we said in the first half, the physicality of these ball carriers is causing fits for the gentleman of Aspen. Multiple bounces throughout the first half, and we start the second half with one just in kind here.
Yeah, look at this run, this surge coming here from Kevin Klassen. Klassen just drives forward, and then you see not rolling away. Big number 1, Teague in the back, gets caught and dinged with the penalty. Gotta give referee something. You got to show that you're trying to get out of there. Yep. Just a little bit of effort goes a long way in trying to get out of those rucks. Didn't give enough, and now it's KC. Already 2 tries in a row to take this lead. They're looking for number 3 to now extend it.
Yeah, if you're fighting and kicking and clawing and even talking to the ref, I'm stuck, you know, the ref will give you some leniency, but you can't just lay there. As the line out goes right down to the scrum half, the substitute, big money man in yesterday's game, getting right into the game and yielding big dividends for this Kansas City side, injects himself immediately into this second half. And you gotta love the way this Kansas City side can be so resourceful, pulling players off of the bench, fresh legs, who don't step down in ability, but in a lot of ways step up. As now Kansas City plays the ball back to the middle, unable to be gathered cleanly, but backwards, says the referee. And look at the forward, sharing the love, moving the ball to space, able to gain meters and resource the ruck. Kansas City seems to be firing pretty well here early in the second half offensively, as now they continue to move the gentleman of Aspen backwards with each tackle, each moment, and that ball might be stolen. And now we'll go back to the long arm penalty, and they've been taking the points lately, and that offsides might give Kansas City an opportunity to chase another 3-pointer here.
Yeah, that is the decision, but in the end, Lance, I just love the contact that we are seeing from Kansas City. I mean, they are putting every ounce of energy in each one of these collisions, and it is tremendous. You know, Pat Clifton, the Raytown legend, had some good things to say for this squad. They had the momentum going into half, and a kick here from field would really set things up nicely, give them a good 7-point lead, a converted try advantage.
Making his presence known immediately, puts the ball through. Looks like it went over the clubhouse, and you see how strong the wind blows. Is that USA flag, the Chicago Blaze flag. bend and twist in the wind. And now with the extension of that lead, it is now a 7-point game. Gentlemen of Aspen giving up multiple point sequences going into the end of the first half. Now find themselves giving up another penalty situation as Kansas City receives the kickoff. And we're back underway here. Another missing tackle due to physicality by this Kansas City side. And they continue to storm forward, running with intentions. And those intentions are mean as they set up for the kick. Ball put to the middle of the field. Fullback unable to adequately judge. And now back to that boot. We might have a 50-22. And I believe it is. AR gives the signal almost immediately. And the man who scored the try earlier, I believe that was Christopher Campbell, showcasing that boot again as he was deep back. I gotta make sure I get that number right. But what an amazing kick and return fire by the gentleman of Aspen.
Yeah, couldn't quite tell if it was Campbell or maybe Ben Mitchell, the big fella back there. But either way, not too often you've got a forward pack player into that back line, scooping it up and then putting in a huge kick to set them up defense into offense now.
Ball played out of that line out, able to get a ruck set right in the middle of the field. Optimal attacking opportunities left and right. They choose to go continuous to the same side as before. Same forward pack able to push forward again. The pick and go with no one controlling that ruck. And the offload given away. And it looks like they'll fall right in the score. And the gentlemen respond back with Ben Mitchell taking a pick and go, giving an offload away, and following the score. We'll get the try score when we get an opportunity. But what a response by the gentlemen of Aspen.
Yeah, it was Jacob Faye bringing it home and just showed the tenacity there in the fight. There were multiple white jerseys standing in front of that line, and he did not care and put it in between the posts as well to make that conversion for Campbell a little bit easier. But there's that big time charge. It's Ben Mitchell leading the way, and a beautiful offload sends him through. And you got to love the support from behind. I think that's Garrick Teague, big number 1. He comes in, puts a shoulder to the backside, and drives the whole pile over for the first try of the second half for the gentlemen of Aspen.
And that conversion is good, and now we are deadlocked 7 minutes into the second half. This is turning out to be a classic. And this offload, a few of the players from Kansas City arguing in distaste of maybe being forward, but you can't ask for a bailout that close to the try line. You got to hunker in, play defense, and let the calls happen as they may, as Aspen ties this game up, and we get ready for the ensuing kickoff here. Kick put up and over, takes a friendly bounce, and now the gentlemen of Aspen have found themselves deep in their own 22. Options here are how they'll attack. Do they set up pause or they go right to the kick? Looks like they go right on attack here. Big hit, and the ball is lost in the tackle. Was it seen clearly by the referee? As you see Kansas City player Sam ruck over as the player on the ground is disallowing ball to flow. And not releasing is the call that would be given. I believe he lost the ball going into the tackle, and that's what created the situation here, Tim.
Yeah, player coach Clifford Kindred had it down there, maybe lost it forward in the tackle, but then clamped it down with his knees. Really would not release with the legs. Not too often we see that inside the depths of the rucks, but he just held it on, forced them to try to go around and dig in there to get it. Great work by a referee to spot that one and ding them correctly.
And you got to wonder, they've been going for points throughout the entire game. This is a time, a great kicking opportunity. They decide the option is the scrum, not the quick tap, not to set up for a line out, but the scrum here and try to attack inside this 22. Kansas City using the upper 4 inches, using their brains here on attack, and they slice right through with one man to beat. He is beaten and diving in to score. JR putting in a try, and what an amazing set piece play from Kansas City to get these points here.
Yeah, Jacob Reuter just comes smashing in like a true outside center. As you see, through the hands they go, just gets it to him. Beautiful pop pass there, and he hits the hole at full pace. They're not able to take him down with the one would-be tackler, and they take it the distance. Another response. I mean, every single time the gentlemen of Aspen have come back, taken the lead, tied it back up. Boy, within, 1 minute, we get the response from Kansas City.
Yeah, what a line. Starting wide, not dragging to the last possible minute, running a sharp intercutting line. You got a looping line out the back. Just too much happening at one time, trying to cover way too much space. And it gives Kansas City an opportunity to take the lead. They convert with the conversion. And again, physicality, but lost in the tackle. And Aspen get the ball back. You talk about a response from Kansas City. Let's talk about the response from the gentlemen of Aspen, who continue to fight and push. Every time Kansas City has a bit of momentum, Aspen seems to take a bit of it away, and vice versa. It's making out to be one of the best games of the weekend, an absolute next-level rugby classic as gentlemen of Aspen surge ahead. Tackle made, and the ball is played out wide again, cutting to the forwards, able to resource the ruck. They have space on the bottom. Do they take it? No. Inside-out move, and the tackle's made right outside the 22. The gentlemen showing that they are playing the hooligan games like hooligans, absolutely storming forward. Played out the back, the layer attack, giving them an opening on the outside. Inside move, players hitting the ground for Kansas City, touching earth. The offload is keeping the ball and the options open. And does he stay in bounds? He does not. Swing tackle made. And just like that, Kansas City, who found themselves being pushed back, make the tackle as Jacob Fields makes a swinging tackle out of bounds here. And just great play by both sides here.
Wow.
Yeah, Fields with a couple of tries yesterday. He's come in and really played some strong rugby. They needed that effort on the sideline to come through and sling him to deck. Great work for the defensive stand.
The ball plays through the line out, clean gathering, and the ball's pulled out in the tackle. And it's called a knock on. A great bit of defense there as the gentlemen of Aspen show up again defensively. The physicality of Kansas City being judo flipped and counteracted. And the turnover is forced as now the gentlemen of Aspen have great attacking position here.
And I think that's Sean Dilley there. We saw him rumble forward with a rhino charge earlier. He tries to do it again, but as his knees hit, just coughs it up so slightly. 12 minutes into this second half, we still back and forth in the action, and it's, again, the gentlemen of Aspen knocking on the door again.
They continue to ask questions here, and they're so close to the try line. Picked up from the back by the 8-man, and again, choosing to go right into the chest of Kansas City defenders. Matching the physicality and the ball carry a few of these times. Spin move almost taken out by a flying Kansas City defender, but able to keep his feet, keep the ball, and look at the drive here. Multiple gentlemen latching on, getting the push. And again, they go back, and the ball is gathered cleanly right when Aspen were on the doorstep of greatness and tying this game up potentially. The pass from the scrum half just a little bit behind and unable to be gathered cleanly. Knock on called, and we'll have Kansas City with a chance to clear their lines and get space here, Tim.
Yeah, Barnhill just couldn't hang on to it. A little bit of a wobbler coming his way from Williams, but unfortunate stuff is this is Kansas City defense. This is what they do. They are going to force you to beat them. The unforced error that time, they're not going to give it away. They've repelled once, twice, 3 times. And again, gentlemen of Aspen just didn't have enough continuity to continue to string phases together and punch it in. Still down by 7, still plenty to work for here, pinned inside their own 10 meters.
Yeah, as we round out and get close to the end of this third quarter here in this D2 Northern Super Regional Final. I mean, you gotta thank the rugby guys. The weather 2 matches ago started to turn. It implemented and laid claim to what the game happened previous to this one. But now the sun has come out. Wind is still blowing strong, but it got a little bit drier. The handling errors still find their way in the game. But you got to love the weather the rugby guy, gave us at the tail end of this match. And a penalty for the gentlemen of Aspen. Scrum showing up for late gentlemen. And Kansas City, who had the scrum advantage throughout most of this match, now find themselves giving up a long arm penalty. And now the gentlemen have a question. Do you take the 3 points or do you go for the tie? As we look back at this replay here, Tim.
Yeah, you see the push here. The call boring in as they just started to twist it a little bit. Referees here on the near side, we're seeing what he's seeing there. Found them kind of digging inside, not driving straight. And we see another little fake and coming back up forward is Kindred again.
Big collision made. And now they swing back around behind the ruck. Might have caught a few of these Kansas City players off guard, but the counter ruck is there. And Kansas City had a chance to take the ball, but unfortunately a penalty so close to the try zone could spell bad dividends for this Kansas City side.
We're here on our own line under pressure. Listen. Just come off first beat, killed the ball, committing too many penalties. Okay, clean it up down here, discipline. Final warning.
And the ruck was formed as you see a Kansas City player lunging for that ruck on the back end. As now the gentlemen at Aspen set up for another tap. Do they go through the deception train as they did before? Nope. Straight forward. Oh. And backward reverse slam dunk and get going in the score. Clifford Kindred showing that he has what it takes to win a dunk contest here on the rugby pitch. And now with an opportunity to tie, the gentlemen of Aspen respond in kind to him.
Boy, you're looking for a leader out here on the rugby pitch, and Clifford Kindred, he is a coach as well, but boy, second time we've seen him score off of the quick tap. Not the biggest guy in the world, but he's shifty. He took that initial bump, and you called it the reverse slam into the try zone. And to get right back into this match, they're not too far off the center, so the kick isn't going to be the most difficult. But again, that wind right in Campbell's face, making it not easy at all.
Step up is good, the approach is good, the kick is good, and we are back deadlocked, 28 all. Kansas City, RFC, and the gentlemen of Aspen, RFC, are giving us all we can handle here in the booth, turning this match into one of the best matches of the weekend. Might take a second to that comeback from South Buffalo yesterday, but this is a close match that could take game of the weekend. As the kickoff is up and the gentlemen of Aspen able to get under it, resource the ruck properly, and they are back on attack. Kansas City has to find a way to minimize the penalties, giving the gentlemen more opportunities to attack. As they play the ball back inside the 22, big right-footed boot puts the ball opposite the 50-meter line, and now the Kansas City have an opportunity to attack. One right foot step, players are touching earth as the Jukes giving the gentleman of Aspen difficulty to make the tackle. Opportunity is still there, but a great counter ruck, and eyes always properly looking up the field. Fields finding space in the open side, and now Kansas City could have had an opportunity to go in, but the ball poked out in the tackle as the try scorer couldn't keep his hands on the ball, and it's poked out after a great bit of awareness by Fields here to find the space.
Yeah, a little misdirection, had the red jersey swimming out to the left, and that pop pass, a beauty from the deck with the backhand. A lot of skill there, but a good strong tackle from behind, jars it loose. Jared Shimp, multiple times we've called his name on the defensive end. Great work on the edge.
Crouch!
Now we prepare for the scrum down for late gentlemen.
Set!
Scrum is set, ball held just a bit into the scrum and hooked beautifully by the gentlemen of Aspen. Able to rely on that boot, and this has to get off the park to give themselves opportunity to reset defensively. Kansas City has been so dangerous when you don't find touch, and now the gentlemen of Aspen can take a second, reset defensively, and get their lines in order as this game is tied and we move into the 60th minute. So much can happen in 20 minutes here Tim, but you got to understand the back and forth battle makes so much complexity as we are seeing the tent be absolutely destroyed by the wind. And Mother Nature is not agreeing with the comforts of shelter on that touchline. As now we have guys able to corral the tent and reset us.
Good eye, Tim.
I don't think that's recoverable there, Lance.
Down red.
I don't think they're going to get their refund for that.
No.
As the ball is played in the back, great long pass played to the far end.
Leave it now.
And a tackle made, cutting tackle. Ball carrier dropped almost immediately. And you can see Kansas City is really trying to expose the defensive line speed of the gentleman attacking in those spaces. Another strong carry, 2 defenders put on their backside as Kansas City continues to surge forward.
Time off, Captain.
Too much conversation with the referee is becoming an issue as well here.
Next time Tony screams in my face, he'll leave the field.
Yep. And that was clear on this tackle, not held. And you can see immediately just talking to the referee, no need. Wasn't held, referee made the appropriate call. And those kind of mistakes, giving Kansas City RFC opportunities. And man, you just got to leave the referees alone in these championship moments.
Here we are.
Yeah, you don't want to get on the referee's bad side in the final 20 minutes of the match. Got to shake that off. Give him a good yes, sir. Just got to give a shout out quickly, though. Jake Gaston, big number 5. That was a tremendous run as he just smashed through the would-be tacklers in red. They're really starting to get that physicality moving for Kansas City, but still anybody's game in this one.
Scrum laid down beautifully, or excuse me, line out laid out beautifully, but not straight, says the referee. Now the gentleman choosing to go to the line out instead of the scrum. They might have better options to relieve stress, and it might have been inside of 5 as well.
Next time you have to be closer.
But not straight is the call. And now
I'll tell you next time.
the gentlemen set themselves up. A deceptive move out the back, fake the jumper. Somehow Kansas City finds a way to disrupt, but not enough to take the ball away as the gentlemen are pushed back just outside their 5-meter line, setting up to clear and relieve tension. Lying on that big boot. The ball doesn't make it much further than the 22-meter, but the offload is a forward pass after the tackle. And right when the gentleman at Aspen might have let up and gave a mistake, unable to keep retention, as Kansas City now has to deal with another defensive scrum. And the gentlemen at Aspen have another shot to relieve pressure here.
Yeah, the kick did not get the distance they were looking for, but what that meant is it gave more pace there for Jared Shimp to be able to come up and make the tackle quick, bang, bang play, force the turnover, and great job of the gentlemen of Aspen. They find the exit strategy they so desperately needed.
Use.
Scrum settled cleanly, and now they go right to the backs. Unerrant pass, and Kansas City with opportunity to score. One mistake is all it takes, and we are no longer deadlocked as the try scorer from before gets his second. Jacob Reiner unable to let an opportunity like that pass, pounces on the ball, uses his speed to get to the try zone, and Kansas City are now up 5 with a very makeable kick off a simple mistake on the gentleman of Aspen.
Yeah, just left that one behind. Etienne Pierre has been so good in this tournament, but nobody home with that back pass, and a huge take for the distance there for Reuter. He went down, scooped it up, one player to beat. Beautiful little cut to the outside, kicks on the jets, and dives home for the try. Again, you mentioned it, the double on the day, a brace for him as he takes it the distance. Great work from Jacob, and allows them, it's not going to be the easiest with wind at his back, to make it a 7-point game.
And he does, converting the kick, and that win, as you see, unable to distort that kick, and now Kansas City RFC gets to try to put them ahead by 7, answering back as gentlemen of Aspen did everything right to tie it up and did everything wrong to lose this lead, or excuse me, to lose the deadlock that we were in. As now Kansas City chooses to get the ball off the park. And now, how do you find the confidence to get right back into moving the ball around as a gentleman of Aspen? Running a play deep in your own end is what lost you the lead. Unfortunate bit of rugby there, but you still got to play loose enough to get into your offense and even get into your more complicated advanced sets, Tim.
Yeah, they're just relying on what they've done. This isn't the first time they've been down. They were down by 8 early in the match. They've done it before, and they're looking to have another one here in this championship match.
Multiple Kansas City players asking for them to swing across. This play right here is a staple for a lot of teams. To flip out the back, but great defense to able to hold, and his knee was down. He was tackled, and that is a turnover. What a great tackle here. I believe that was Gordon Palmer able to grab a leg and keep the ball carrier from getting around the corner. But amazing bit of play here to stop all momentum. Or excuse me, I believe that was number 6 there on the tackle.
Nope, it's there.
He was on his knees when the tackle started, but referee let it play on, and no release gives KC more space to work with.
Yeah, that was a tough one there. Enoch DeCal looked like he was going to be able to find some space out there. Again, once you hit the deck, just got to make sure you release that ball. Could have popped right back up to his feet and scooped it and went. But now we sit 15 minutes left to play, Lance. A couple of substitutions coming into the game. Try to get some fresh legs in there, as this has been a battle for the ages. The Aspen just need another try.
Able to steal the ball back as the gentleman, but knocked on that catch, and with 15 minutes left, time has now become an even bigger factor, as before our 80-meter games seem to move a lot faster the further into them you get. As now Kansas City with an opportunity to put into this scrum, and any penalty in this area, they will elect to take points to extend this game to a two-possession game. But you got to be impressed by how both teams have been playing. Outside of that one mistake, this has been pretty much a back-and-forth seesaw battle here, Tim. Ball played into the back of the scrum, cleanly fielded, and now the ball flung over the top. Players are slipping, which adds to the pressure as the gentlemen of Aspen rush down. But they find a way around the corner, offload off of the ground, and now with the scrum advantage held up, the gentlemen of Aspen have to choose what they'll do. Scrum advantage over, says the referee. So now we're just back to regular open play. Players from Kansas City falling and moving away from that ruck. Playing good, strong defense, able to keep the gentlemen pretty close to where they started. Tips passes in the tackle from the gentlemen. And the gentlemen of Aspen have been putting together phases, but can it get them all the way down to score to get this game back deadlock? As now they play back to the weak side, really forcing Kansas City to control defensively both sides of this ruck. It's really going to open up options for them on the bottom of your screen here if they decide to put the ball in the space. 4-pack there. Ball played to the outside, and to unlock the door, they bring it out, but the defense from Kansas City able to take care of business. That ball was knocked on as he tried to keep it in bounds on that offload.
Just a knock on by Red.
Now Kansas City with another opportunity to scrum here. And you just got to love the work rate of Kansas City defense. They're doing a lot here to keep this team from Aspen deep in their own end.
Yeah, strong work to be able to come away with it. There's Caleb Levy-Cremine. Again, you mentioned him earlier. He had 4 tries yesterday. Hasn't really gotten involved. But I got to love the work rate from both of these teams on the defensive end. It was Kansas City that looked like they were going to break. 2 big tackles from Pierre and Takao. And then here on the near side, a great tackle coming in there by Cremine.
And the free kick is given to late gentlemen. Will they move with speed? Unable to, as the ball was hooked by Kansas City. Now with the tap, Kansas City defense already spaced out and controlling the field here. Referee clearly saying no hands for Kansas City, but still pulling the ball away. And now that long arm penalty will push Kansas City back further. Late gentleman unable to control the ball. Fine, says the referee, but tip forward again is the gentleman. And the knee touched the ground from the ball carrier. Release does the gentleman. And now Kansas City is on attack. Physical on the rush. Maybe not with the same amount of pop as the first half, as fatigue is starting to set in. But the defensive line speed on that outside edge by the gentleman might have opened up the gate for Kansas City. Big booming fin. And way to shoulder in that tackle to keep his balance. And now Kansas City is moving forward. Gentleman double tackle to absolutely spill Kansas City ball carrier. Another tackle made around the middle of the field as Barth falls down on top of the ball carrier. And again, the physicality from Kansas City shining through as another defender from the gentleman of Aspen can't make the tackle one-on-one, being bounced out. And now we have a penalty here. So much was happening, so much chaos and carnage in those tackles, and a high tackle is the result. As now Kansas City can opt to go for points here.
Just relentless pressure, time and time again. They're able to secure possession, getting bodies around the ball until they have secured themselves a penalty. And it's been a tremendous match here as the referee gives the warning. 10 minutes away from championship glory here for Kansas City if they can hold on. Lance, it's been a fantastic match. No yellow cards in this match, so a really strong, smart teams going at each other. And again, we've never had more than an 8-point advantage. It's been a tight contest throughout, but this could be one of the deciding extensions here for Kansas City.
And no good, as now we have a 22 drop, and the substitute who immediately made an impact getting onto the field, Jacob Fields, unable to push that kick through and make it a 2-possession game. Now the gentleman choosing to drop a dribbler, and it crosses past the 50. This is where Kansas City can be dangerous when they're out and running and loose. And with that line break, Kansas City could have an opportunity to go back and score immediately. The patience to slow down and find the support help is there, as Warner absolutely breaks open this gentleman of Aspen defense. And with a diving try, Kansas City might done exactly what they need to put them ahead, with Zane getting his 3rd try of the match. In Zane in the membrane, as they say. The man goes in to score, and just broken tackles here, Tim.
Yeah, Colson Warner with a tremendous play, dumps this one back. Maybe he comes in here kind of off his feet a little bit, but it opens things up, and then the beautiful pass coming in from field. He had his target out there, and it's Zane Palmer. Money in the bank if you get him an open space. We've seen throughout the day, and that is going to be a huge one for Kansas City. Beautiful pace there on the outside, and enough in the tank to get it done and bump this one now to a 2-try lead.
15 to kick.
Referee instructionally given 15, let them know it's 15 seconds left on the kick. Fields put one up and just right of the goalpost. But with that try, a 12-point advantage for Kansas City, putting up and getting to the 40-point marker. But you just got to love the way they're so resourceful and finding the space and getting the ball there, Tim.
Yeah, looking for him on the edge. He's always available, always ready to take one the distance, no matter how many players are in his way. We saw him truck 3 earlier, this time a little bit easier on the outside.
Ball is put off of the park inside of the 22, so now the gentlemen need to respond in kind with less than 7 minutes to go, as now the substitutes for Kansas City have started to join into the fray. Cameron Giuseppe getting his appearance here today in this D2 Northern Super Regional Final. And these moments right here, these are championship moments. Aspen has to find a way to score 2 tries, 1 converted in order to deadlock 2 to take the lead. And do they have what it takes to respond? Ball tipped by Kansas City. Play on, says the referee, as the ball was tipped and caught by the gentleman at Aspen, and now they're on attack. Can they find a flair to get around the corner? Been finding ways to score, but through a lot of work and build up, they have to find more explosive plays, big chunk plays to get down the field here. As we look, Kansas City is choosing not to counter ruck, just giving strong defensive lines and really forcing the gentleman Aspen to make the play. Ball intercepted and tipped forward. We have a foot race, and he might be able to get to it in time, and he does. And just like that, with the hand across the chest, it is over, he says. This game is over. Number 11 slides in the score. That is the 4-try scorer from yesterday's match, Caleb Levi, and just the presence of mind to catch, one-step kick, and let your runners run. Question whether he was onside, but the speed is there, and Kansas City might have put this game away, Tim.
What a smart kick. Send your full-speed winger out there, and Levi Cremine takes it the distance. Slit of the throat there, as he knows that could be the nail in the coffin, as Kansas City have given everything they have in this match. Again, they put up 70+ yesterday, a much tougher opponent here on Championship Sunday. But here in championship time, the final 10 minutes of this match, 2 in a row.
And that is just devastating to the gentleman at Aspen's cause. Unable to keep hands on the ball. The ball was thrown right, just looking before receiving and just trying to stress and get the ball into space. But that is also a part of Kansas City defensive approach here. Not counter-rucking, not trying to slow the ball down, just strong defensive line speed, and it works out beautifully for them. And now they're playing a tactical territory game as well as they kick the ball to space here.
Oh, yeah, they're taking full time on the kicks. They'll kick this one out anytime they're in their own half of the pitch. And it is a smart championship style of rugby that Kansas City is playing right now. 17 unanswered points in the last 15 minutes, Lance.
And the lead extends furthermore after an opportunistic playoff defense that we've seen quite a few times. A penalty advantage given to the gentleman at Aspen, as now they charge forward. They're trying to make the most of every opportunity they get now. As you see that outside line speed from Kansas City is trying to shut the door and keep them from getting around that corner. Advantage is played all the way through, so now Aspen have to find a way to make the most with no help from the referee's whistle. Climbing and clawing forward, the defense from this Kansas City side has been optimal throughout the day. Everything earned from this gentleman at Aspen team is now again low tackles in abundance for this Kansas City side. No real contest at these rucks, if you notice. They're just trying to give good line speed and good defensive structure. No need to try to force the turnovers. Force gentlemen at Aspen to make the play as they crawl little by little, inch by inch. The gentleman at Aspen has to earn every meter that they've given. Multiple defenders near the ball. No attempt to take the ball in the tackle, but everything there to make the tackle. The ball is flipped from the ground. Play on, says the referee. It was backwards. Great carry by the gentleman at Aspen, and the space is there. Hand on the ground to stay on the feet. And with the drive, the previous try scorer could have opportunity to score. Tackle just outside the 5 meter. Weak side is there. Does he see it? He does. He goes weak side, but tackle just short. Great scraping defense by Kansas City, and that counter ruck happens to be absolutely monstrous, overpowering and overwhelming the gentleman of Aspen to get the ball back. And what an amazing defensive set from Kansas City. Almost finding themselves in tragedy, giving away a try late in this game. Now find themselves in triumph as they're able to clear their lines and box kick the ball out of play. Aspen look like they're going to go quick. That goes 5, so play on, says the referee. Loads of space on the top of the screen. Should he put it on his boot? He does not. Goes to hands. And they could score on the other side of the field, but a great defensive tackle. High tackle could be the call here. No, it is not. Try given. And the gentleman at Aspen answer immediately. Bailey and Dursky gets points for the gentleman, and they're hustling to get this kickoff and to get this game back underway.
I'm good.
Took them a good 6 minutes of ball in hand, back and forth, and this great play. Good job by Campbell Johnstone to move it with the hands all the way to the outside. Player coach Clifford knows what to do with it, and a beautiful diving try on the outside. Bailey and Dursky did it yesterday too. He came in as that impact sub and got the score. He does it again and gets them a little closer. Only a couple minutes away from that final whistle, though. It's still a 2-try disadvantage.
And the best thing that happened for Kansas City is not making that tackle on the edge. If he stops him from scoring that try with how high he went, it'll be a penalty try, yellow card, and that can change the complexity of this match. Player hit in the air and a penalty. Long arm given. Aspen choosing to go quick. They are playing against not only Kansas City right now, but against the clock. And that rushing might have made another opportunity for Kansas City to go on and score.
Kicked it out of his hands.
Oh, the ball kicked out of the hands of the Aspen player, which turns into dangerous play. Referee goes back for the additional penalty. Now the gentlemen of Aspen are trying to find a way to get forward momentum here. Ball plays to the answer, try score, and Dursky able to make a right-footed step, goes inside. Ball preserved here. As the gentlemen continue to surge forward, Kansas City is not yielding any space without appropriate response. And again, big collisions by Kansas City. Defense trying to hold forward, not contesting to take the ball at the ruck. They're okay with the time being wasted through this phase build-up, and that's just a well-coached team having the right approach and situational awareness. As gentlemen of Aspen try to play the ball wide, ball pop from the back, able to keep flow going. Ruck after ruck after ruck, finally an attempt to steal, but only while isolated do Kansas City attempt using the op to the counter ruck in earlier moments instead of poaches, and a penalty long arm here. And it looks like we lose a bit of connection, but with the score line as it lays and into the 80th minute, we can say that Kansas City will be moving on to the Final Four here as they take the Northern Super Regional. The ball spilled over, and final whistle as Kansas City takes the Northern Super Regional. And the gentleman at Aspen with a valiant fight, but cannot make it happen. Tim, you got to appreciate such a great match we had here today.
It was outstanding. A huge second half burst for Kansas City. 5 tries as they took it the distance. Beautiful work, and really it was the edges that got it done in the end. The wingers had multiple tries out there for Palmer. A beautiful championship victory. Got to give it up to Aspen too. They played hard, but in the end, it is the boys from Kansas City that get it done and are going to be right back here in Chicago in 2 weeks for the Net.
You have to go and drive me so crazy. Now I'm feeling lost without you, and I just can't be without you.